But to have the most fun, you need to play your best. That's where the experts at Golf Plus come in. Their friendly staff will guide you through the buying process, answer all your questions, and can help with any repairs you need along the way. Golf Plus is your custom fitting, club repair, and golf retail shop. Golf Plus staff is non-commissioned and will work with you to find the best product for your game, just like they've been doing since 1988. Golf Plus in Panama City Beach. Fitting, repair, retail. That's Golf Plus.
When it comes to building smart and roofing right, TK Vandy's is the name you can trust. They're your go-to for general contracting, design, build solutions, and top quality roofing. From concept to completion, they deliver excellence on time and on budget. Whether it's a custom build or a complex renovation, they've got you covered, literally. Call TK Vandy today and build something better together. TK Vandy, built with purpose, roofed with pride.
When it comes to backyard dreams, trust the name that's been making waves for over 65 years. Cox Pools. Serving the entire Florida Panhandle, Cox Pools brings experience, innovation, and quality to every custom pool design. From luxurious spas to resort-style pools, no vision is too big. Make your backyard the place to be with Cox Pools. Cox Pools, 65 years strong and still making a splash. Visit coxpools.com or call 850-235-7957.
Are you looking for a place to take a leak? Do you have a truck, tractor, or other hydraulic equipment leaking or not performing as it should? At Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, we can get you back to work. Do you have a busted or leaking hose? Hydraulic cylinder or pump needing repair? If competitive pricing and a quick turnaround are what matter to your business, come see us at Reliable Hydraulic Solutions. Or you can give us a call at 850-326-3000. Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, 6840 Highway 77 in Southport. The best place in town to take a look.
PLQ Port St. Joe, WGSX Haven. Powered by Panama City Toyota.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
If you build it, they will come. We're live from the CBC Construction Studios. And now, the Gulf Coast's newest sports talk host.
Hey, there's the new guy.
Paul Wilson.
I'm sick and tired of carrying all the weight.
Paul is your pipeline to the heart of the action. Hot takes, big reactions, and your calls are incoming.
The product on the field is pathetic.
The Sports Blitz on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome. You're listening to the Afternoon Underdogs with Paul Wilson here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. We're so glad to have you here on this Monday. Happy Monday afternoon, everybody. It's 4 o'clock. Maybe some of you are already off of work. You lucky dog. Some of us are still here working and grinding it out. Hopefully you're listening to us on that radio dial. If not, you can listen to us on all the platforms, whether it's the ESPN Northwest Florida app or on our Facebook page, our YouTube page, all of the above. We appreciate it. As always, on Monday, I'm joined with Coach Brian Haddett. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing good. I just broke my pen, but I'm doing good.
I wondered what was going on over there. I thought you were shooting stuff at me, saying, wait a minute, we need to get off at 4, too. And always in the glass bowl, back in the back. Old Cam Newton's back up. Bone Crusher, how you doing today?
Listen, I know some of you all have a case of the Mondays, but here's the plan. Just an hour to go. Plow forward. Let's crush the rest of the day, okay?
Oh, yeah. Today is going to be crushing it. We got a bunch of stuff going on. There's a lot of breaking news, stuff that's just come out, and we'll be sharing that a little bit later. Brian, did you have a good weekend, my man?
Pretty good. I actually was in town finally for one. Man. So I worked a lot, but then I actually... Yesterday, like an idiot, I got outside and did 3 hours in the heat, power washing my driveway in front of my house, and not realizing how hot it was. That wiped me out for most of the rest of the day. But, you know, that's the hell of getting old. You don't feel it at the time, but I'm still feeling it now. So
well, we got an opening for a sponsorship for Coach Brian Haddett's
yes, there you go.
Driveway cleaning service. So if anybody wants to, you can call in. Don't forget also to call in or text in on the Red 7Ts phone line, 850-215-6290. We'd love to talk with you, hear your opinions and comments about what we're about to talk about. But, you know, my weekend was feel pretty good. You know, got to go out to the beach and enjoy that a little bit. You know, with the people starting to leave and going back to school, that beach isn't so bad. I mean, the traffic is still decent, but the beach is really good. There's a lot of opportunity to get out there and enjoy it right now.
You know, it's interesting because, you know, those of us, and I say those of us who've been here, I've been here 16 years now, but there used to be distinct seasons. And there was always kind of that, you know, once kids went back to school, you had kind of 2 weeks of, it was really nice here, and then you had the Labor Day weekend push, and then it was really nice again, you know. From COVID forward, there really wasn't any change. There were people here all the time.
Yeah.
And so we're starting to settle back, and I you know, I hate it for some of our sponsors, I know, who love that being full all the time, but it is starting to settle back a little bit into you know, a bit of where it's, you kind of have a little bit of down period and then it picks up and a little bit down again. So I imagine it'll be, you know, like that again. Now Labor Day week again will be crazy and then it'll settle back again. So.
Yeah, I love it because we have a condo over on the beach and like you said, I want them to rent it out and rent it out all the time. So I want it to be packed over here. Also, don't forget, this week we're going to be having a lot of local people coming in to talk, so just kind of a little preview of that. But, Brian, have you been watching what the Brewers are doing? I mean, they are phenomenal. I see that they're winning already right now. They're about to start over, but the 14-game win streak was stopped. The Cincinnati Reds walked it off in the 10th. I believe it was on Saturday. And it looks like the Brewers, man, they are a team to beat. And just phenomenal to watch them because they started out the same way the Braves did with a sweep.
Well, and it was an ugly sweep because, you know, the Yankees, I mean, we have to remember this was the series that everybody went nuts on the torpedo bats. And I remember saying at the time, I said, I think it's probably a lot more to do with the fact that, you know, the Brewers aren't pitching very well. Because I think Peralta went in the opener and he pitched okay, and then the next two it was just, well, they brought in Nestor and good Lord they shelled him.
Yeah, I remember that.
But yeah, so they did start out. I think they lost their first three, and they didn't look very good, and there was questions about their pitching. But boy, if they turned it around in a big way, and it kills me because I was down to them or the Royals. Or not the Royals, them or the Cubs. And I went with the Cubs, who are having a great season in their own right. I don't feel bad about my pick of the Cubs, but, man, I sure wish I had seen this Brewers thing. I'd made some money this year.
I don't think anybody was expecting them to go because it's not – I mean, obviously they've got some young talent, obviously, with Cheerio and their big pitcher. But when you look at them – on paper, they're not going to wow you, but they're playing really good. The question I have, though, Brian, is it too early? Are they peaking too early? Is this a, you know, are we going to see them kind of fall off? Are we going to see, you know, I know we're not predicting.
I mean, you know, the thing about that is even if they are, they have time to kind of get into a slump. What they've done is bought themselves a mulligan.
Yeah.
You know, for lack of a better term. So, I mean, I think they have time to maybe – you know, drop off just a little bit and then pick it up for a playoff run. So if this were happening maybe 3 weeks from now, I might be a little more worried about it if they started to struggle.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've never been a huge believer in that in terms of like baseball or something like that. If you're talking about a purely training sport like swimming or running or thing, yes, because you taper an athlete, you know, physically, yes, you can you know, kind of peak too early and go out too fast, as they say. But no, with this, I think they're in good shape. The one thing you just want momentum.
Yeah. And
so, you know, you can have a little break here, kind of maybe getting some of the talk of the streak out of the way is good. Like I always liked it when you maybe win 4 and drop 1, because then you don't get into this whole streak thing, because then it becomes a thing that draws a lot of attention. You start getting focused on the wrong things. And, maybe now that the streak's gone, they can just kind of relax, go back to just playing great baseball, which is what they were doing at the beginning of this thing.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, because they were giving away free hamburgers, and, it was a big deal, and Milwaukee's going nuts for them because you got that, and then you got the, NFL getting ready to start. So, the fans are, because Jordan Love come back today.
Yeah, that's right.
He had his surgery, and so he's back. So the city or the city of Milwaukee, because they're all Green Bay guys, they're just going crazy right now. And they have a right to. I don't think they've ever won.
Well, it's a big baseball town.
Yeah,
Always
they haven't ever won one, right?
Not with the Brewers. The Milwaukee Braves won in 50s, sometime in the 50s, I believe. But not with the Brewers. They've been. I know they went to the World Series in '82
with Robin
Yount. They lost to the Cardinals that year. I don't know if they've been since then. I don't remember one since then. But that was when they were in the American League.
Yeah.
So I'm not aware of them ever winning one with the Brewers. So that would be a big deal. So it'd been 70, 80 years since they won.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. Now, getting over to the Braves, winning 5-4. Yeah, yesterday swept the Guardians, 5-game winning streak.
All right, I can answer your question before you ask it. Yes, they're peaking too late. Yes.
That's right. But gosh, where's this team been all year? You've been so good here in the past, 2 weeks.
Well, but remember what we talked about last week. I said one of the things they could do, even if this season is written off, is you talk about, if you're SNIT, you talk about playing from now, it's its own season, from now to the end of the season. Let's be one of the 3 best teams in baseball.
Yeah.
And if they can do that, it just makes the offseason go so much better. It certainly puts some hype around your club. Maybe some free agents want to come in, or some guys don't mind being traded to the Braves again because they're back. Yeah. They just had a rough run. And it makes the kind of the build up to 2026 that much better. So what they're doing is exactly what we kind of hoped they would do. Now, obviously we would have loved it if it had been earlier and they were in play for this year. They're not.
No.
But this is critically important, I think, to starting off a good 2026.
Yeah, and that's what's going to be key, because I do believe that this team can make a big-time playoff run. I believe they've got the sticks. I believe they have the young kids around that can really, give them that spark. A healthy Acuna, a Drake Baldwin, now Michael Harris, who has just been raking at the plate. The guy is unbelievable. And just think, at the beginning of the All-Star break, he was the worst player that was an everyday player in baseball as far as statistics go. And I could rewind the tape and hear me saying the Braves need to get rid of him. And now he looks like, if he's not somebody that they're looking at trading for next year that's already added enormous amount of value to him, he's a guy, too, that now you can put as a cornerstone there to build around, because for whatever reason, I don't know if he's just seeing it better. I don't know if his approach has changed. I don't really know what's going on, but I know one thing: he's hitting the baseball really good. He's had like 4 multi-hit games in a row. He's had 3 home runs. He was 500 coming into, 7-8 game stretch there, and just tearing the cover off the ball. And when you look at the Braves, you know that they've got the Olsons, they've got the Acuna. But if you add him, and then I do still believe, I know this is, some of the Brave fans are going to kind of step off with me about this, but I believe if you can get some value out of Murphy, if you can get some value out of Albies, if you can get some value out of Ozuna, I think getting those pieces out of there, getting some new free agents like what you're saying, I believe, whether that's middle relievers or a closer or something, I believe our pitching's going to be just fine, because you got all 5 of those guys coming back.
Just got to stay healthy.
Got to stay healthy. Yeah. But I also believe that you'll also have to throw another pitcher in there, and I think that it could be Strider.
Yeah, and it's possible. I definitely expect the Braves to look a lot different come next year.
Yeah.
Which is fine. You've kind of run your course with this group, and kind of went through that a couple of years ago when they moved Contreras on and Swanson on and guys like that, where it was kind of like, hey, you got kind of a good core thing going here. And there were some upgrades. It didn't necessarily pay off big, but on paper, I thought the moves all made sense.
Yeah.
Contreras went on to play really, really well right away, when he moved and all like that. Swanson, not as much. And then I guess coming into, was it this year or last year when they moved Grissom on? I was going into last year because it brought Sale in.
Yep.
Yeah, that looked like a good move too. So they've made good moves. It just hasn't been their year. So I do expect them to move a lot of these guys on and try and plug a few different things. I'm more interested in seeing the Braves' MO over the last decade has been bringing people up through their system very young. And you're wondering, the system's not as deep as it once was. So I'm wondering, are there any pieces that are going to come up through the system next year? Or is it all going to be going out and making deals or, signing free agents, whatever?
Yeah, they've got some strong pitching that I believe is down there that possibly I had some names back a couple of weeks ago that I had written down. But I can't recall their names.
I know a lot of their guys that are more, high A and maybe even into double, but not guys that are like imminent, ready to come up.
Yeah. So I think they're going to be fine as far as that goes, but I agree with you. I think going into it all, you're probably going to see some of those guys get moved, and when they get moved, it'll be interesting to see who wants to come. A name that's been coming across a lot is Schwarber, bringing him over, and, obviously he's on a tear right now himself. But just having another big stick like that always matters. And could you look it up? Because I think I saw where another person got into the 300 club because that was something we talked about last week. And I still just can't get over it because 8 people in the 300 club. And, I thought they said, and I'm not sure if they were talking about for the full season, which Giancarlo Stanton had been hitting. So where are they at now?
So there's only 6 that are above 300. We have 2 that are at 300. So there are still 8 that are hitting 300 or better.
What's the names? Can you give me the names?
So Aaron Judge still leading the league at 333. Jonathan Aranda's at 316. Jeremy Pena is at 313. Jacob Wilson still sitting at 312. Then you go tied for 5th. Xavier Edwards for the Marlins and Will Smith for the Dodgers are at 302. And then Michael Garcia for the Royals and Vladdy Jr. for the Blue Jays are at 300. Those are your only 8 players at 300 or better. Freddie Freeman at 298, Bo Bichette and Ketel Marte at 297. So we've got some guys closer, but
the number's still
literally
8.
4 guys in the league batting better than 310.
That's crazy.
Amazing.
And you just again, I've got a guy that's getting ready to come on in a couple of weeks or maybe even next week. Played with the Braves. He's actually the Destin's head baseball coach. He's going to be coming on, and I'm wanting to know from him, how does that make him feel? Because 300, that's it.
And here's what makes it worse: 3 of those guys in that top 8 have played less than 100 games.
And that's a big deal. Yeah, that's a huge deal.
The 2 most games played, Michael Garcia at 122, Vladdy at 123. Judge has played 114. Wow. Everybody else is like 108 and less, all the way down to Jacob Wilson's only played 94 games. He's had some injuries, but yeah, there you go.
Man, and
crazy.
You're used to having way more than that, and that's just a nuts.
Yeah, generally speaking, your leader still may not have been any more than maybe 340, 342.
Yeah.
But you just had more guys in that 300 to 318 range. You just don't have them anymore.
Yeah, they just have gone away. And you know what? I've even talked to some of the younger guys, young baseball fans, even in my life, and they're like, oh, average really don't matter anymore. We're talking about this and this and this and this. But I'm like, at the end of the day, you can't have RBIs if people aren't on base.
Average only doesn't matter if you're constantly getting on base through getting hit by pitch or walk or whatever, because average matters in that it means that you're on base more often. If you're on base more often, you're more likely to score, obviously. Yeah. And that's the name of the game. So I know the statisticians and, the Sabre guys will come in and, 1 home run is worth 5 strikeouts. I don't care. It just, if you're on base, you have an opportunity to score.
Yeah.
And that's how I look at it. So you give me a guy who, somebody's hitting 350 versus somebody who's hitting 280, they're on base significantly more when you're talking about 500 at-bats in a season. And, that many runs. We saw last year it came down to the very last day on who made the National League playoffs, because you had that doubleheader with the Braves and the Mets.
Yep.
The way it worked out, they could split it and knock the Diamondbacks out, which is what they did.
Yeah.
But it can come down to 1 game, 2 games, 3 games, and that's what that difference could mean.
Yeah, and that's what's nuts. Yeah. Speaking of nuts, Cal Raleigh last night, they had the Little League World Series Baseball Classic, and it was between the Mets and the Mariners, and Cal Raleigh hits number 47. Just crazy the way the man's hitting the baseball. It's just, I mean, I know there's, Seattle fans everywhere, but still just what he's doing is just amazing. Being a catcher, being a switch hitter. I mean, the guy is just fantastic. And those kids last night, they were just going nuts when they were watching him. And, when he come out, obviously they called him the big dumper and all that. And he did not, obviously they lost, but he did not show up for those kids. It was pretty cool last night.
Here's what I love about him. We were talking about it. He's played 122 games as a catcher.
As a catcher.
That's great. I mean, that's what you want out of these guys. No load management for him.
What's he batting right now?
He's hitting .252. He has 18 doubles, 47 home runs. He was the first over 100 RBIs. Schwarber has since joined him. They're both at 102 on the season. But, yeah, I mean, Raleigh's having a great year. But here's the thing. Quietly, because all the focus has been on the number Raleigh's been hitting, so everybody thinks he's so far out there. Schwarber and Ohtani are at 43. They're only four back.
Yeah, and all that takes is to get hot. That takes is to get hot. And even Judge, he hit number 38. 39.
Yeah.
Okay, so Judge is still, obviously he's had some of those games, but as well as I do, he get in one of those series and gets locked in.
Yeah, and there's some guys who've quietly put up some big numbers like that. Like Ohtani, this is the quietest 43 I think I've ever seen.
Yeah.
What he's doing. Junior Camanero's hit 35.
That's
Juan
crazy.
Soto, everybody thinks he's had this awful year. I mean, he's only hitting .251, but he's got 30 home runs. He's got 71 RBIs. He just, Pete Alonso has 100 RBIs.
Yeah, and that's what's crazy. Yeah, I thought his production was going to fall off, because he had gotten older and, he was fighting for that contract.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, we don't know if you're worth it and all that. But he showed them. Now, we're going to get into something that's a little crazy. I don't know if everybody's seen it or not. But this Victor Rubles throwing his bat at the pitcher after being hit. He's on an assignment coming back from rehab, and he's playing with the Tacoma team, and the guy hits him, and he just loses his mind and throws his bat right at the pitcher.
Yeah. We were talking about before the show. It reminded me of the first time I ever saw that happen, 1988. Pedro Guerrero, who's a scary dude.
Yes.
But I remember thinking at the time, you get shocked by it. Like, whoa, what in the world? We see guys get hit by pitches all the time. And obviously there's the rules of baseball and things. But, there's way, way too much thought that, they're a professional baseball pitcher. If they hit someone they meant to. Not always.
Not every time.
Pitches get away.
Yeah.
Sometimes. But I remember thinking, it's like, if I'm the hitter, this guy, look, there's a lot of guys who throw in 100 plus now.
Yeah.
I don't care what gear you're wearing.
Yeah.
100 plus,
Hurts.
That's a weapon.
Yeah.
And so why not use your weapon? I'm actually surprised we haven't seen someone run out there and just start club swinging it.
Yeah.
But Guerrero, I remember he hurled it. It was at David Cone, we found out, and it was shocking, and they came down pretty hard on him, and I think as they need to, because that's the last thing you want to start seeing. But the notion that, oh, my God, that's so out of bounds, like it's a weapon. First of all, that bat ain't coming 100 miles an hour at you.
No.
And baseball is.
Yes.
So I understand it. I don't want it to happen, but I'm actually surprised it doesn't happen more often.
Yeah,
and maybe it's because they've drawn a pretty hard line on it.
Yeah, and so we looked it up. Pedro Guerrero only got 4 games. Obviously, that's a lot of games. Don't get me wrong. 4 days without your pay, all that kind of stuff. I'm just curious how they're going to do this because he's playing an assignment, so he's playing AAA ball, and so I wonder if they'll make him sit out during his assignment, or will they prorate it and put him out in the first of his when he comes back to the big leagues?
Well, since he did it in AAA, my guess is it would apply there, or if he came back up the big, it would apply across baseball, is what I think. My guess is this day and age, it'll be more of a significant fine.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, let's face it, that's how they fund a lot of what they do.
Right.
I mean, it is.
It is.
It's what they do. So I would imagine there'll be a pretty stiff fine in it, and there'll probably be a 2-3 game suspension, which would go across. I would imagine it would apply to AAA, but if they were to call him up in that time frame, it would apply going forward as well.
And that really, like you said, growing up, you'd see that kind of stuff. Everybody remembers when Robin Ventura charged the mound on Nolan Ryan and he popped him in his head. I mean, those type of things used to happen all the time, and people used to do it. But now, because like what you said, it's the money. It's getting fined those hundreds of thousands or thousands of dollars. A lot of guys, they don't really do it. They'll talk a lot, and maybe the catcher grabs them a lot, but still, they're not like they used to be.
Well, and it's, people always say, well, they're making, $15 million a year. What's $100,000? $100,000 is $100,000. I've heard athletes talk about when you cut a check for $100,000, it hurts. I don't care what kind of money you're making.
Yeah, no doubt.
So you don't like to do that, and you certainly don't like to give it to the league. That's why a lot of them have looked into giving it in pennies before, and stuff like that. But no, it's and Robin Ventura, I think he served his punishment.
Oh, that was definitely
forever.
Yeah.
I mean, he got beat down by an 80-year-old man, basically. I mean, it was what it was. And
he wrangled him on top.
That looked like when you think you're big enough to take on your dad.
Yes.
That's exactly what that looked like. And Dad was like, you ain't big enough yet.
Not yet. And the thing is like Robin Ventura, obviously he was a great player at Oklahoma State. He won the Golden Spikes Award, great player. But unfortunately for him, he will always be tied and linked to that. And that'll be his claim to fame forever, because nobody will know what he hit. Nobody will know that he played with this team or that team.
Certainly in this generation who don't remember how good a player he was.
He was good.
But, yeah, it's the old Bobby Allison line from the fight at Daytona. It says, then he went to beating on my fist with his face.
Yes, that's exactly what happened. Well, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to be talking about what happened to the Chicago Bears over the weekend. You're listening to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Taking your hot takes, rants, and takedowns. Let's hear it on the Red 7T studio line. 850-215-6290. You've read the headlines. You've seen the highlights. But how about the unfiltered truth?
Steroid era, you can like it, love it, hate it, whatever. It's a baseball.
Since 2017, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida has been the undisputed leader for sports coverage on the Panhandle. If it matters in sports, it matters to us, and it matters to you. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with Monday's weather forecast. A possibility of thunderstorms and some sun the remainder of the day with temps near 90 and a wind 10 to 15 miles per hour. Clear skies tonight and a temperature of 79. About the same tomorrow, around 90 with mostly sunshine most of the day aside from a likelihood of thunderstorms in the afternoon and evening. Possible thunderstorms Wednesday and very warm around 88. This forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Ellis Agency Insurance has been serving Panama City and Bay County for years. They offer a full line of affordable insurance coverage of all types. Many people are attracted to Ellis Agency Insurance because of their friendly, knowledgeable staff. Call independent agent Johnny Ellis for a true comparison of your personal or business insurance. Ellis Agency Insurance at the Old Cullen Insurance location, 1134 Harrison Avenue, across from Dandy Donuts and Deli. Call 763-1627.
At Brock Lawn and Pest Control, we're proud to be awarded the distinction of being Quality Pro certified.
Our technicians have passed rigorous training in eco-friendly application and prevention of pest treatments.
Part of the program is the practice of integrated pest management.
IPM's goal is to prevent pests from ever entering your home. It includes inspection, prevention, education, and, when necessary, application.
We're proud to be Quality Pro certified.
Brock Lawn and Pest Control, the standard and level of trust.
The 2020 2025 Atlanta Braves are battle-tested, and every game this summer is a chance to get back in the fight.
Olsen muscles one deep down the right field line, and is gone! Another bomb by Olsen.
Tonight, Matt Olson and the Braves are back in town as they face off against the Chicago White Sox at Truist Park in Atlanta.
Braves back in Atlanta to take on the White Sox. Pre-game 6 o'clock, first pitch 6:15. Your home for the Braves on the Gulf Coast, ESPN Northwest Florida.
Transmitting from the CBC Construction Studio. What in the wild world of sports is going on around here?
The thrill of victory.
The Afternoon Underdogs.
The agony of defeat.
On 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Afternoon Underdogs with Paul Wilson here on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Don't forget to call or text the 850-215-6290. The Red 7T's phone line is waiting for you to be a part of it. Brian, we're starting the preseason NFL football season, and it is the craziest it's ever been for me because all of these starting quarterbacks are starting early on. They're changing it up on us. They flipped the script, and I've got to talk about it because online is popping. Everybody's talking about it. The Bears, they beat the Buffalo Bills, not a Josh Allen-led team, but a Mitchell Trubisky Bills team, 38-0. Everybody's talking about Caleb Williams. Everybody's talking about Ben Johnson's offensive prowl. And I just don't know. What do you think? Caleb Williams, when you hear the name, what do you think?
I actually think I thought he slightly exceeded expectations his rookie year, honestly. I was a little bit worried about him coming in. He looked like he had, some issues kind of tackling the role of being a leader. I thought that the pressure got to him a little bit in college, and you can understand that. He had a lot of hype on him. He was in the media circus that is L.A.
Yep.
And I thought he crumbled from it a little bit, so I was a little worried about him coming in, but I thought he actually had a decent year, with the Bears. I thought he actually played a little bit better than I anticipated going in. So looking at that, you would certainly hope to be able to build on that. You've added a couple of pieces around him, you think. And, ultimately it's going to come down to, can the line protect him? Is he going to be running for his life? Are they going to be able to run the football, which will open up a few passing lanes for him and things like that? Because we know he can improvise and do some things on his own. So the more help that they can give him, the better. And if the defense can keep him in games, then that's great. Now, you look at this result and you think, you held the Bills to, 0 points. Great. Now you look at who played quarterback for the Bills. Mitchell Trubisky, Mike White, and Shane Buechele.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't look quite as impressive anymore. But if their defense steps up,
right,
then he's going to be in pretty good shape. The fact that they scored 38 points last night, to me, is a better indication of, okay, things are going pretty good than the fact that they, like I said, the Bills without Josh Allen, didn't score a lot.
Yeah.
38 points. I don't care if you're playing, the Bills backups. This was a good defense last year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Well, when you look at it now, coming into the game, there was a lot of hype and a lot of stuff going on. They were talking about the interview that happened on, I believe it was Thursday. They interviewed Coach Johnson. Johnson was talking about being able to take control of the huddle, being able to take control of the line of scrimmage, and all of those things they said was directed to Caleb Williams. And they were talking early on. There were some leaks in the team meetings that were talking about that he's having a hard time with the play call. He's having a hard time remembering where the ball was supposed to go. He's having a hard time remembering all those things. And so with that 6 for 10, 1 touchdown, he looked really good. The thing is, though, is that I watched the highlights of what he was doing, and he was throwing to the old tight end from Notre Dame. I don't know if you remember Cole Kmet.
Mm-hmm.
He was really, very good player. But they also, if you don't recall, they drafted Loveland, which was another player out of Michigan that's a tight end, which kind of was crazy to me because I was like, why would you need 2 top-end tight ends? But as you could see during that offense, he was throwing the ball a lot to the tight end.
There's a lot of teams now that are platooning tight ends the way you used to see with running backs to maybe keep some of the hits and the routes and things off of them. So you're starting to see that more teams are carrying a couple tight ends like for that. Whereas, in the old days, the Todd Christensen days, it was 1 tight end and that was it, you know. But I mean, they went out and they picked up Luther Burden, who I thought was a steal, getting him where they did. Yeah. He's very talented. He's inconsistent, but obviously they have a lot of weapons there. He seems to connect with Cole Kmet. That's great. You always like to have your one guy that you kind of know where they are. And Kmet's been with the Bears several years now, so he's kind of, he's not 40 years old, but he's a veteran presence. Yeah. And so it doesn't surprise me that that's turned into his, safety blanket, for lack of a better term.
Well, and when you watch him and you see him, because when you saw him at Oklahoma, obviously he come in for Riley there when Spencer Rattler was struggling. Mm-hmm. And, you watched him play, and some of that was just, his craftiness of being able to elude defenders and kind of a la Johnny Manziel a little bit. And then you see him go over to USC, Southern Cal, with same Lincoln Riley, and you still saw some of that. And then last year, whenever you're like what you were talking about, he had some good times and he had some good things going on, but there was a part of his game that just seemed to be when things don't go the way I want them to, I'm going to, if it starts breaking down, if the pocket starts breaking down, then I'm going to just go and do this playground football, from what I would call it. And so when you see him do those type of deals, that's where he doesn't really have a good grasp on the NFL game because it's not set up that way as much.
That's what your rookie year is. That's where you find out the stuff you were able to get away with in college.
Yes.
For 99%. The only guy I've really seen that can do exactly what he used to do, Kyler Murray.
Yes.
He can just do it. I can't understand. That is the quickest, shortest steps ever, but he can move.
Yeah.
But most of those guys, they realize it's the same thing when you go from high school to college. You learn very quickly, first half of your first season, some of the stuff you were able to get away with, you can't.
Right.
Because now you're playing the best of everybody that you played against at the lower level. So some of that is a natural adjustment, I think, to the NFL.
Yeah.
Especially with a quarterback who, you try and, get out on the perimeter and make things happen. And, now you're going up against every best player you played against in college. And it's like, okay, I have to make some adjustments. I have to do some things a little bit differently. So that's why I'm so interested in seeing what happens this year. What will he have learned from last year that he can then grow from and take it forward?
Yeah, well, we've got a caller on the Red 70s phone line. He's a friend of the show, Michigan Eddie.
He's going to yell at me.
The Bears. How you doing there, Eddie?
Go, we try to we're going to play the best in the live lecture. Hey, here's the thing. I heard Cole Kmet and all the hubbub about that guy. Dude, Colston Loveson is going to be Tango Echo 1 for the Bears. He's a stud.
Yeah.
He was a stud at Michigan. Draft him in fantasy. It's the Big Ten is all tight into you. Like, you got Hawkinson and JJ. You got Laporta and Golf. I mean, dude, you can just call the NFC North tight end you, man.
Yeah.
Our tight ends are phenomenal. And Colston Loveson is already making a name for himself in training camp and summer practice and all of that. So I hate the Bears, even though my cousin played hockey for the Chicago Wolves in the AHL. Love you, Tim. But I can't stand Chicago. I can't give 2 craps about Chicago either, just like I can't give 2 craps about Ohio. Anyway, there you go.
Well, the beauty of it is, Eddie, is that I agree with you. I think he's going to be unbelievable going forward. Having a guy like Kmet there means he doesn't have to press himself to be the one right away, which I think will just help him in his development.
Coach Brian, my man, my card guy, my card bartender. You're absolutely right. You are right there. I mean, having Cole Kmet as a veteran presence will do nothing more. And he is part of the development of Colson in camp right now.
Right.
Of how well he's doing is because of the veteran presence. And Cole Kmet, if I remember right, he played at a big-time program, Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
So just like Colson did at Michigan. So, I mean, it's a perfect match. It's going to be good to go. And hopefully not against Detroit. That's all I got to say.
I was, Eddie, I was a little bit taken back with how they took him before Tyler Warren, because I thought doing the evaluation, that Tyler Warren was going to be the best tight end in the class. But, man.
No, you want to know why? Bro, come on.
Tell me.
You want to know why? Because Colson Loveland was hurt almost all year.
Correct.
Through the pain.
Yeah, true.
That's why. You go back to our national championship year, he was a stud.
Yep.
I remember, yeah. Yeah, no,
That
he
is why
was.
Loveland went over Warren. Now, Warren, he's phenomenal. And Franklin totally misused him in the playoffs and all that, and the Ohio State game. That's why they lost, because they misused Warren. They should have kept you. Sometimes you just keep feeding the horse, watering the horse, whatever that saying is. And Franklin didn't do it.
No.
And they lost because of that. Their best player on the field wasn't Aller, it was Warren.
Yeah.
But if you're going to compare the two tight ends, you got to give it to Loveland. You got to give it to Loveland. You can't. And last year was not an accurate depiction of him, because he was playing hurt like a true Michigan man does. Plays hurt for the team, the team, the team. Remember Blake Corum the year before they won the national championship, they lost to TCU. He tried to come back the next weekend against Ohio State and give it a go when he tore his Achilles against Illinois, a game that I was at. By the way, Dan and I were at where Moody hit the last second with 17 seconds left at the big house, by the way. Just saying, we were there. I've been there, done that. And that's what Michigan men do. We're winners. We're not losers. We are winners, not two-loss national champions. All right, what say you?
I mean, I get what you're saying, and yeah, I love how you just squeeze that in there, but I agree with you. Loveland is phenomenal, and the thing about Loveland is that with having Caleb Williams there to throw the ball to him, and Tyler Warren, he's got Daniel Jones. I mean, it's probably going to be not so good for his numbers, and I could see where he's definitely not going to be able to be a part of what's the call of being Rookie of the Year, especially if Loveland keeps doing what he's doing. So I agree with you. I think that's great.
And Caleb Williams is showing up, showing well in practice. It's kind of funny how you put a Michigan man on the team, all of a sudden Caleb Williams, and he's messing with this tight end. There you go. Bingo, bango. As Mickey Redmond, the great Detroit Red Wings announcer, would say. Bingo, bango. And Caleb's doing good. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Chicago's got to steal everything from Detroit or Michigan and make themselves good because they suck so bad. Anyway, go ahead.
Do you think Detroit, while we got you here, we're about to go to a break, but I do want to get you, do you think the Lions this year are going to push past what they did last year and not throw a hiccup like they did against the Commanders?
I can tell the grasshopper I don't make predictions about my team.
That's right.
I don't do that on the air. I do not do that. But I will tell you, there are no, as my class motto of the Air Force Academy was 2002, no limits. There are no limits for my Lions. No limits whatsoever. It's Super Bowl champions or bust. And that's what Amon-Ra says that, Dave Montgomery. I'll tell you, there's going to be a lot of wrinkles in that offense. People are saying, oh, we lost our coordinators. Oh, my gosh. The ceiling's falling on the Lions. No, it's probably the best thing because now we're getting more innovative and all that. Jameson Williams, you got Gibbs, you got Amon-Ra, you got Laporta, you got Demo. I mean, you got Goff, bro. Come on.
Well,
and you got Branch on the other side, bro.
Well, but
and you got Aiden playing better this year than he was last year before he got hurt.
Well, that's the thing with the defense. Good Lord. They had like two teams worth of defensive linemen out at one point. I mean, the defense was banged up. I actually think the Lions are one of those teams that their record could be a little bit worse than last year, and yet they still be a better team than last year. The way everything fell last year, everything was kind of, perfect for them until they kind of ran into that hiccup in the playoffs. But, the fact their defense just by odds is going to be healthier than last year. I mean, people don't put enough stock into that.
That's true.
It's how banged up they were on defense.
I love to hear it.
And we still won.
That's right.
Being banged up. Because that's the culture that got MCDs he's bringing. Motor City, blue-collar work ethic, Ford factory auto workers, brother. And that is how Detroiters and Michiganders are made. We're not wimps. We're thick-skinned, man.
Yeah.
We're not snowflakes.
Well, I'm so glad you called, and you know what even made me happier before we go to this break is that you mentioned J-Mo, which is an Alabama guy, and you also mentioned Gibbs, which is an Alabama guy. You got Terry and Arnold over there, and you got Brian Branch there.
Yeah, I got Terry's autograph, by the way, just saying, with Tops Midnight, and that purchased from Brian. And Brian Branch is a stud, bro.
Yeah.
He is the man. He should have been a first-rounder. Brad Holmes is a genius. I mean, look, we're getting all of our players from Alabama or Michigan, bro. You know what I'm saying? That Aiden Hudson, Branch, Gibbs, J-Mo, all that, and then Ohio State. We got Decker on the line and all that. I mean, it's awesome, bro. I love Bama. I do love Bama. You know, for the most part. As long as their players come to the Lions, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I was going to clip that first half and give it to Hale. Yeah, he'll love that.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Michigan Eddie. I appreciate it.
You guys are great, man. Go
yes,
Blue,
sir.
babe. Go
All right,
Blue,
buddy.
babe.
Thank you, man.
I'm out. Later, man.
When we come back, we will discuss what is going on with the LA Rams. You're listening to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
The Red 70s studio line is now open. 850-215-6290. ESPN Northwest Florida. The Afternoon Underdogs.
And I don't care about the morning show, the Buckeye Sourpuss Boys and all this stuff. They care more about Michigan than they do about the Buckeyes. I could give two craps about the Buckeyes. I could care less about Columbus. The only thing good about Ohio is my goddaughter in Canton, Cedar Point, Kings Island, the Toledo Mudhens, and the Air Force Museum.
4 to 6 weekdays. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with Monday's weather forecast. A possibility of thunderstorms and some sun the remainder of the day with temps near 90 and a wind 10 to 15 miles per hour. Clear skies tonight and a temperature of 79. About the same tomorrow around 90 with mostly sunshine most of the day aside from a likelihood of thunderstorms in the afternoon and evening. Possible thunderstorms Wednesday and very warm around 88. This forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Your NFL and college football headquarters is Dak Cajun Place. With 27 TVs, you won't miss a play or a game. Score 50-cent wings during live games every Monday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. 50-cent wings and $5 pitchers during live games only at Dak Cajun Place. LSU and Saints fans, wear your team colors and get free Jell-O shots when LSU or the Saints score. Plus brunch on Saturday and Sunday from 10 to 2 with $3 mimosas. Game like a local at Dak Cajun Place.
Want to bet on sports but no clue where to start? Millions of players are already making moves on Hard Rock Bet. Your friends might be winning. Why not you? Bet with confidence. Bets by real players help guide your picks. Go with the crowd and cash in on the wins. Any pick that catches your eye. Hard Rock Bet. Roll with us. New players bet $5 and get $150 instantly in bonus bets. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Please call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
You found us inside the CBC Construction Studios. Karen bought 83 liters of Dr. Thunder, a suitcase full of Cheez-Its, and a drum of Crisco. Now she's crying about using the self-check at Walmart.
Maybe we should speak to a manager or something.
Just saying. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Afternoon Underdogs with Paul Wilson here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Don't forget to call or text the Red 70s phone line 850-215-6290. What a way to talk about what we're talking about. Text us. Let us know what you're thinking. If it's something you agree with, I don't care if you don't agree. Go ahead and text anyway. We talking a lot about the NFL preseason, and we've talked about this, and we haven't gotten to the points for the LA Rams. Now, you've got Matthew Stafford, 37 years old, and he hasn't taken one snap in camp due to a back injury, and it is not looking good for the Rams. And today, they come out and they allowed him to work with the team some, and they were asking about week one starters. He going to be the week one starters. Everybody's talking about it. And Sean McVay said, don't put the cart before the horse. And that, to me, Brian, scares me to death for L.A. Rams fans. It scares me to death for the future of what's going on with the back. You know as well as I do, he's taken a beating as a quarterback in the National Football League, being all those years in Detroit, and then now coming to the Rams, obviously having some success with McVay. But this is a big deal. This is a big deal, and it's going to be curious to see whether or not he comes back.
I think he will, because he strikes me as a guy who, if he wasn't going to be able to or had a sense of that, he would have dumped out early.
Right.
I was a little surprised he said he was going to come back coming into this year, but I think he wants one more go round. I don't see it lasting more than this year, but I mean, good. Aaron Rodgers got 4 years on him. Who knows, But now with Stafford, I mean, he's in the perfect system to be an older quarterback, I think. I think that works out for him, and I think he likes it out there, and he just enjoys kind of the grind. So I fully expect him to be back there. I think what McVay is just kind of doing is just like, guys, let stuff play out.
Yeah, and like with him, watching him all those years in Detroit and how tough he is and how he doesn't want to come out. He's a real true guy. He's not a sissy. You know what I mean? He plays the quarterback position all those years, taking all that beating in Detroit and then coming over and that's really where I would be more concerned is there something deeper there? Is he hurt more? And he's going to take a lot of licks.
Yeah, but by the same token, what he has that a lot of people don't have is he has, 15, 16 years NFL experience at this point. So he does need to practice. I mean, you're constantly changing your roster over, and you do need to get in sync with your new receivers and things like this, and you've got line changes and whatever. But it's not like he needs a full preseason the way that maybe some others would, because so much of this is literally muscle memory for him at this point. So, if he were with a brand new team and weren't practicing like this or something like that, I might be just a little more worried. The fact that he's been in this system for several years, the fact that he's got 15, 16 years of experience doing this, it doesn't really bother me at all the way it would maybe if we're talking about a second, third year guy or somebody with a brand new set. Like, to me, it would be a little more worrying with Rodgers being at a new team.
Place, yeah.
But even Rodgers can get away with probably half practice.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't put too much stock into it yet. The only way it could be a big issue is if he has some level of a deteriorating issue with his back.
Yeah.
To where it all of a sudden, we didn't think it was that bad. We thought it was kind of normal age and pain and this, that, or the other. If they start to see there's a degenerative disc issue, and then that's just become evident in the last couple of weeks, what he might be doing right now is just saying, can I even go?
Yeah.
And that's the kind of thing we won't know.
Yeah, we won't. They won't let you know that. They won their preseason game 23-22, so have no fear. You have a quarterback that went 28 for 40, 324 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, and that name is none other than the mailman, Stetson Bennett, from the national champion Georgia Bulldogs, is the backup, and they are giving him an opportunity. Bone Crusher's getting excited in the building already because of those big-time Georgia Bulldogs being in the NFL.
Well,
and, I mean, look at him. I don't know.
I mean, I'm pretty sure they were at Georgia at the same time, right?
They're close.
I mean, Bennett's 100 years old.
Yeah, he's
himself.
old too, yeah. So if you look at it, you got to think about that. That really does matter. And I think he's been there for going on 3 years now. And obviously he wasn't with the team his first year. I think you had to do a rehab stint. I think he's had some trouble. But he's seemed like he's gotten ahead of it. And he really looks like he's running Sean McVay's offense really good. And if McVay really is the whisperer that they talk about him being, I mean, what another way to come back with somebody like this guy who knows how to win?
It's so interesting because the entire MO on Stetson Bennett was the overlooked guy who just goes to work. He'll drop down to JUCO. He'll do whatever it takes. Like Kirby said, he never expected him back. Yeah. You know, like that. And it worked out, and he ended up playing himself into a couple national championships, and he's never going to have to buy a drink in Athens for the rest of his life.
Nope.
Then, you know, maybe he got a little big head on that. He looked like he was partying a good bit. Got worried he was going to go the Manziel route, honestly, for a while. But I think he's kind of gotten back into that. You know, everybody wrote him off after that, and it was kind of like, I'm going to get back to my underdog role. And I think he's just gone to work. And he's kind of embraced that again, and I'm just going to have to prove everybody wrong again. There's nothing he does that's spectacular.
No.
Except he just wins football games.
Yeah.
And it's incredible. So I don't know if he's going to be able to do that in the NFL on a consistent basis, but certainly just the fact that he's even still in the league is testament to his work ethic, because he easily could have gotten run out of the league after, you know, his issues with the bottle his first year.
Yeah, and that's what is you know, again, it's his MO. It's what makes him be who he is. And it would not surprise me if what you say about Stafford, if that were to happen, I don't want that to happen necessarily, but if it were to happen, I don't think it would be a bad thing, because I think he can manage, you know, and in the NFL, it's not a game, you know, everybody puts it on, you know, the ones that are so spectacular and arm angles and, oh man, he makes that throw and all that. But if you can stay in your offense and not lose ball games and really make throws and take really advantage of the weapons that you do have, because they do run the ball. They do have some good wide receivers. They do have good tight ends. And so if you look at it, they will be a team that if he were to come in, obviously there's going to be a drop-off from Matthew Stafford because of 15, 16 years of experience. But when you look at him, there's a good chance that guy could come in there and really be play good quarterback position. Just play a solid position. Won't lose you any games. Won't make you, you know, spectacular, you know, wow throws that you would just be like, whatever. But I think the guy can really do it.
Well, and
still.
remember, you don't have to be 13-4 to make the playoffs.
Right.
You know, you're going to make the playoffs in the NFC, typically speaking, at 10-7.
Yeah.
Sometimes even 9-8, just depending on the way it plays out. And the NFC West is always up for grabs, you know. I mean, who knows? The 49ers are going to look completely different. That may be good for them. It's hard to tell. Seahawks are a completely different kind of team this year. And, you know, so who knows? And the Cardinals, God knows what they're. I mean, that is, you know, that's the league of, or the conference of potential.
Yeah.
That never seems to be realized. So we'll have to see. But, you know, if you've got somebody who can go out there and just, you know, put you in position to win games and let your playmakers do that, which it looks like, you know, Bennett doesn't overdo it too often. Every now and then he tries to hero move. Yeah. But generally speaking, he makes the right decisions due to that kind of age and experience. You know, he gets them to somewhere where they can be 9-8, 10-7. They're in play for a playoff run.
And that's what I think is the big deal. Or how about this? How about if Matthew Stafford is hurt, that they have enough confidence in him to be able to carry them until Stafford's all the way back. And that would, to me, be something that would kind of work out for them, because they don't have to be, like you said, 13.
The only two problems with that theory are, and it's a theory, are, number one, is he really going to be that poised in the NFL? Because it is different when you get to regular season game. Yep. The other thing is going to be, he's not a huge guy.
No.
What happens when he gets that first monster hit? You know, is he going to be able to hold up himself? So, you know, obviously you need to have contingencies upon contingencies upon contingencies in the NFL. And, you know, theoretically, right now, it looks like Stetson Bennett can at least come in and you know, have them not have a massive drop-off. But we don't know until they actually lace him up for game one.
And I'll never forget what Dak Prescott said when the interviewer asked him, said, man, you're taking a lot of hits. He said, bro, I played in the SEC. Yep. And that's the thing about it, too, for Stetson, for me. I think that, you know, obviously he played those Alabama teams. He played those LSU teams. He played against, you know, his in practice against those guys that are playing now for the Eagles and all the other places where they're at. But I think he could be something to watch. I think it's going to be an interesting deal of how Matthew Stafford's back survives this part of the preseason, because when you throw, regardless if you get hit, when you throw, it still moves that back. And the thing is that if he can go and how long he can go, then there's that chance that you could see Stetson. And then, you know, with that underdog story, you almost can just write it out that if it goes good, that he hands the baton, he retires, and then now is Stetson Bennett going to be able to carry a team? And you don't really know.
No, look, if you're asking me, my thought, is he going to be able to carry that team? Probably not. But that's just playing the odds.
Yeah.
We'll have to see.
And when we come back,
I've doubted him before.
Yeah, we all have. And when we come back, we're going to be talking with Steve Barnes from the Rebel Talk. We're listening to 104.3 ESPN, Northwest Florida.
Call or text him now on the Red 7T's studio line. 850-215-6290. It's the PCB Hobby Takeover with Todd. Mondays at 5:20 on ESPN Northwest Florida.
That is a very high-end card and very rare.
Todd talks about coins, trading cards, collectibles, and the amazing stories behind them.
It was the first one that's ever come through my door.
Plus, we'll be taking your calls and questions at 850-215-6290. The PCB Hobby Takeover.
A platform for you to do your hobby.
Mondays at 5:20 on the Sports Talk Monster. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with Monday's weather forecast. A possibility of thunderstorms and some sun the remainder of the day with temps near 90 and a wind 10 to 15 miles per hour. Clear skies tonight and a temperature of 79. About the same tomorrow, around 90 with mostly sunshine most of the day aside from a likelihood of thunderstorms in the afternoon and evening. Possible thunderstorms Wednesday and very warm around 88. This forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Los Rancheros has been doing it right for 20 years. Los Rancheros brings a top-shelf dining experience to you with the opening of their beautiful new building. Watch all college and pro games on Los Rancheros' 14 large-screen TVs with great drink specials daily from 2 to 5 and during all the games. Los Rancheros, the place for live sports and great food on 23rd Street between Jenks and Harrison.
When it comes to building smart and roofing right, TK Vandy's is the name you can trust. They're your go-to for general contracting, design build solutions, and top quality roofing. From concept to completion, they deliver excellence on time and on budget. Whether it's a custom build or a complex renovation, they've got you covered, literally. Call TK Vandy today and build something better. Together, TK Vandy, built with purpose, roofed with pride.
GSX Lynn Haven, WVLQ Port St. John. Powered by Panama City Toyota, ESPN Northwest Florida.
5 Atlanta Braves are battle-tested, and every game this summer is a chance to get back in the fight.
Olsen muscles one deep on the right field line. That is gone. Another bomb by Olsen.
Tonight, Matt Olson and the Braves are back in town as they face off against the Chicago White Sox at Truist Park in Atlanta.
Braves back in Atlanta to take on the White Sox. Pre-game 6 o'clock, first pitch 6:15. Your home for the Braves on the Gulf Coast, ESPN Northwest Florida.
If you build it, they will come. We're live from the CBC Construction Studios. Forget the sidelines.
Every athlete dreams of a second chance.
You're in the game.
These men lived it.
With the Afternoon Underdogs. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
And it is 5 o'clock here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. You are off work. You're done for Monday. Monday was a Monday. So glad that you're here joining us, whatever avenue you're listening to us. We appreciate you here listening to the Afternoon Underdogs. As always, we've got our guy on the phone, Steve Barnes from the RebelWalk.com. A little bit of a tongue twister there for me. But Steve, is so good to have you, man. It's the first time I get to talk to you. How you doing?
Hey, man, what's going on, guys?
We're just having a great time here in hot Panama City Beach.
That's right.
Well, hey, it's kind of hot here in Pensacola, too. So,
yeah, that's true.
You know. But I've just been watching a replay, believe it or not, of the Jets and Giants preseason game. And I think I'm going to start calling the Giants the New York Kiffins. Because I just watched a play where Jackson Dart's the quarterback, Juice Wells is the wide receiver. Both played at Ole Miss last year, and the running back was Devin Singletary.
Wow.
Played at Florida Atlantic for Lane Kiffin.
There you go.
Yeah, they look good, too.
That's a good recruiting tool.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, you are all things Ole Miss for sure, and so I've been dying to ask you this question just because I've been hearing a lot of chatter online about Austin Simmons. And then last week, they talked about the ball just isn't touching the ground, and then I believe it was Coach Kiffin. He made the remark that he reminds him a lot of Tua. And I just want to know, Steve, what is going on with Austin Simmons for the Rebels?
Well, he reminds people of Tua because he's left-handed and wears number 13. So
that helps.
It looks a lot like, the guy at Bama a few years ago. But the thing is, the kid is just, he's something. He, like everybody knows, he graduated from high school 2 years early. Mm-hmm. He's got his degree. He's 19. He's already got his bachelor's.
Yep.
Something else I really like is I saw an interview with him where they were talking about getting his master's, and everybody said, well, you're going to get an MBA, right? He goes, no, I'm going to get mine in sports management. And they said, well, why do you want to do that? He said, I want to learn how this thing goes, because that way when some of my teammates have questions, I can explain it to them, and plus I can help them with their NILs.
Oh, wow.
That's great.
Now,
That's crazy.
That's a kid who's got it going on. And plus on the field, let's face it, last year, that one drive against Georgia, he comes in with Dart, gets hurt.
Yeah.
And all he does is, go 10 plays, 75 yards, and a touchdown. So, not bad. And the weird thing is his dad did not want him to play football.
He was a baseball player.
Yeah.
Because he's a left-handed pitcher who throws 96. And he played for 2 years at Ole Miss, and the only thing that got him out of there is he tinged up his elbow.
Mm.
And pretty much Kiffin said, well, you're going to have to make a choice now.
Yeah.
And you're on football scholarship.
Yeah.
And he goes, I think I'll play football, Coach.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was wondering, because I had heard that he was an absolute stud on the baseball diamond as well. And so whenever I've read about him and just was kind of curious, because I know that I watched him come in against Georgia and do that, and I was just like, whoa. Because if Lane Kiffin can get somebody that's almost a la Michael Vick and can throw like Tua, I mean, gosh, what could he do with that offense over there?
Well, thinking about baseball, all right, he graduated basically after his sophomore year. He was offered for baseball from Vanderbilt, Florida State, and Miami.
Wow.
Yeah.
You think he could throw a little bit off the mound?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
With his size, he's 6'4", 215. He comes out of the bullpen in the 7th and 8th. He was a setup guy. He wasn't a closer. But he comes out of there, and all of a sudden you're facing 96 again?
Yeah.
Yeah. He was a tool for Mike Bianco.
Yeah, he kind of sounds like Aroldis Chapman, just almost getting to that 100-mile-an-hour mark.
Yeah.
Well, I think if he'd have developed as just a pitcher, he'd have probably had 2-3 miles an hour at least.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So, I mean, come on, he's 19 years old.
That's amazing.
That's it right there.
All right, Steve. So all the talk, for the last couple of weeks, you had the coaches poll that came out, and now we've had the AP poll that comes out, and everybody's arguing who's too high, who's too low, who's just right. Why did Florida State get votes? All this stuff like that. And, outside of giving people like us fodder to talk about this on television and radio and everything like that, do we really need preseason polls in college football?
Well, you hit the nail around the head. Fodder.
Yeah.
And, newspaper column inches. Well, I guess we don't really have newspapers anymore, but I guess website views.
Yeah.
But, it's given us something to talk about until the real games start. Florida State's getting votes because everybody thinks last year was an anomaly.
Right.
It's like, that can't happen again. They're going to come back and be this. But, I mean, in every poll I see in the preseason, I look at one team that's not going to be there probably week 7 or 8.
That's right.
And I see a team that's maybe just getting votes. It's like, well, they're going to be up there.
Yeah.
So this year, I'm not sold on Miami. They're number 10 preseason. I saw. I think they're going to fall pretty quickly. I just don't think that they're that good, and I'm really not sold on Carson Beck. I saw a great interview with Kiffin the other day, and the 3 guys interviewing him, it was Ryan Clark, Shane Crowder, and Fred Taylor. 2 of them played at Florida, 1 played at LSU, and they're like, this kid's getting $4.6 million to play at Miami this year. And Kiffin, honestly, his jaw dropped a little bit. He goes, $4.6 million? Did they see him play against us?
Yeah.
So I'm not really sold on Miami. Now, a team that's just getting votes, I think, is going to sneak up there. And this is my sleeper G5 team. Watch out for Tulane.
Yeah.
You got the Redliff kid from BYU coming in.
That's right.
Yeah.
John Summerall's their coach. I know John because he was at Troy. And mark my words, he's going to be the next coach at University of Kentucky. Because either this year or next year is when, I really hate to say it, but that's when the coach there,
Stoops.
Yeah. He's either going to retire or resign.
Yep.
And I think the reason that he went from Troy to Tulane is it's much easier to justify Kentucky hiring a coach from Tulane than it is from Troy. It's a lateral move if you look at it. It's both, G5s, and pretty much evenly matched. But the name recognition is going to help him. But the other thing is, you look at Tulane's schedule. I think it's week 3. They have Northwestern at home. Okay. The next week they go to Ole Miss. And if Ole Miss has not hit their stride yet, especially on defense, and people are kind of worried about the defensive backfield, this kid could pick them apart. But if they just split those two, they could go the rest of the way unscathed.
Yeah.
So watch out for Tulane this year.
That's a great call out. I mean, I agree with you, and I'm a big believer in Summerall, and I think he hit the nail on the head. I think we always talk about who's going to get fired, this, that, or the other. I agree. It's going to be a coordinated thing, but one of my predictions for this season was Stoops would retire. He'll announce it around week 8, week 9, and play it out, but that's how they're going to handle it. Yeah, I agree. Well, Steve, we're almost there, but talking about the stories of the preseason, what would you say is the most underreported story of the preseason, and then maybe after that the most overreported story of the preseason?
I'd say the underreported, Kansas. Somebody wrote a check for $300 million to them.
Yeah.
That helps.
Yeah.
I mean, they're already rebuilding their stadium. They didn't need the money for that. So that's $300 million. I mean, that's just house money.
Yeah.
What do you want to do with it? Do you want to put it NIL? Do you want to, build this? Do you want to, improve this? You want to pay your coaches more? That's a lot of money, man. And wow, and that brings me to the most underreported is the penalties on Michigan.
Yeah.
Because that's basically a fine. And if Kansas is going to get $300 million from a booster, whatever the fine is total for Michigan, 1 or 2 boosters is going to cover that. So that's no big deal.
Oh yeah,
and
I mean they've got Ellison now trying to impress his girlfriend. I mean he'll find that in his couch.
Yeah, especially if if one of those boosters has one of those national championship rings.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, hey, it's cheap to get this ring. Yeah.
Yeah, we had a lot of people talking about that, and the fact is this a new way is what they were talking about, where they adding in the money more than they are games or the previous year. And then they bring up, well, it was the other coach and all this stuff. And so it was a real, it was kind of a unique deal. And you had people on both sides, especially when it broke on Friday, that it was just like, man, is this the new way that the NCAA is going to go forward? And you just wonder if that is the way they're going to do it, more like an NFL style where they're going to penalize you with money more than they will games vacated.
I think they will because, well, let's face it, the NCAA is becoming more toothless as the days pass. And I've coined this, 15 years ago. I still think the NCAA stands for no clue at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what they're going to do is like, well, we'll just make some money off of it because we can't really – if you try to do that to a coach can appeal it.
Right.
And just drag it out until the season's over. And then, okay, well, I got to sit out 2 games next year. Okay, let me do the Akron game and the Toledo game.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be something like that. Until the NCAA, I think they're going to have to get just a football committee. And it's not going to be one of these things where, the athletic director from this school and the senior women's associate from this school and whatever from this school, they'll come in after they're done with their job and they'll sit on the committee. No. You have to do it. It's going to have to be a full-time job.
I was going to say, Steve, it's one of those things that it's almost impossible structurally because there's no way you're ever going to be able to punish the people who actually did it. The coaches are going to move on. The players are going to move on. The one time in history, I think we saw something that the NCAA did that was an actual deterrent was SMU. And it was so bad that it actually darn near crippled enrollment at SMU to the point that the NCAA will never bring that back.
That's never going to happen again.
No. It was so much worse than they even thought. But it was the only real punishment they've ever been able to dole out.
And think about this: if they would have just fined them or said, okay, we're going to lose 8 scholarships or whatever, or if they had the rules they have today, SMU would probably have 6 or 8 national championships by now.
Yeah, that's so true.
They had the infrastructure before anybody had it, or certainly at their level. I mean, they took it to another level. But
Southwest Conference had it like that.
Sure.
Everybody.
That's true.
Everybody. At one point, I think every school in the Southwest Conference was on probation for paying players. So,
that's right.
But SMU just said, hey, y'all want to cheat? Let us show you how to cheat.
Yeah.
Well, we're talking with Steve Barnes here from the rebelwalk.com. And Steve, you know it's coming. We all know it's coming. The first week of college football, the best game for you is what? Because ESPN and Fox are coming together. What's going to be the best game for you to start the season?
The very first one. Iowa State and Kansas State, they're both ranked.
That's right.
Let's go.
Now they have to play over in Dublin, and I mean, I'll bet you right now we could go to any pub in Dublin right now, show up a U.S. map, and ask anybody in that pub, point out Iowa, point out Kansas. Nobody could do it. I tell you what, you can go to a bar in Pensacola and probably.
That's probably right.
Half of them couldn't do it. I mean, and I've been to both of them. I've actually been to Iowa State. Nice little place.
Ames.
Yeah, nothing there. But worse, I've been to Manhattan, Kansas.
That's one of those places they say the best thing about Manhattan, Kansas are the roads leading out of it. Yeah, I've heard.
Well, it's called the Little Apple. I was working for the Montgomery Advertiser that year, and I did a little sidebar talking about, it's called the Little Apple instead of the Big Apple. And I really checked out town. It's like, okay, well, let's see. The Big Apple has the Empire State Building. The tallest building in Manhattan is the football press box. Manhattan has Columbia University, an Ivy League school. They got the Barbizon School of Beauty. And they also have in Manhattan the Metropolitan Museum of Art. Manhattan has the Kansas Insect Museum, which is basically a room full of bugs, I guess.
Oh, gosh.
So, I mean, we got there, and we actually had to do the post-game press conference for the visiting team because it was raining. They put us in the equipment shed.
Oh.
So I was literally sitting on a John Deere interviewing the coaches. So just, get me out of here. And Manhattan was so small. We flew out, and we had to stop in Little Rock because we had to get gas. And I thought, why didn't we fuel up before? And they said the runway's too short. Would have been too heavy.
Oh, my gosh.
I thought you were going to tell me they made you spin the propeller before you started it.
Oh, no. Trust me, back then, I mean, I was covering Troy. They did all stops taken out on the charter flights.
Yeah, yeah.
And it turns out that year, I didn't know it until the last trip was we were flying Hooters Air. Remember that?
Yeah.
Hooters had an airline, yeah. And the last flight we had was out to Utah State.
Mm-hmm.
And they gave us a 757 this time instead of a smaller jet.
Right.
And it's like, okay, this is cool. I got to the Montgomery Airport, which is actually in Selma. It's not Montgomery.
Right.
But got there, and I walked out on the tarmac, and I'm not kidding. It's a white jet with an orange tail with an owl on it, and it actually says Hooters on the side. And I look over at Chuck Ash, who was the trainer. I said, we're going to fly into Salt Lake City, Utah on a Hooters jet. Let's get off having a beer, see if we can just pretty much offend everybody.
I bet the people that were waiting on y'all to land was the most disappointed when you guys stepped off.
Well, I'll tell you what, I have to admit now, it was not Hooters girls as the flight attendants, but they were really, really nice.
Yeah.
And they were, I mean, they gave out something, we used to get Powerade back then. They gave us Hooterade.
Really?
It was something they were test flying, I guess, to say, can we sell this? And it was like the worst drink. I mean, when you get kids after a college football game taking a sip and putting it down, it's like, yeah, okay, this is probably not that good.
That's crazy.
Steve, we got time for one more here, and I definitely want to ask you this. I mean, this is an open-ended question if there ever was one, but what is the one change you would like to see in college football?
No, I mentioned it earlier. We need a committee.
Yeah.
Just a full-time committee. Keith Gill, who's the commissioner of the Sun Belt Conference, and I see him every year because the Sun Belt basketball tournament's over here, so I get to spend time with him. And the entire time, he's worried about the Sun Belt. How many teams are we going to get in? This and this. Where am I going to go for the first round or whatever? Well, he's now in charge of the NCAA basketball tournament committee.
Mm.
So he's going to be the guy on Selection Sunday on ESPN having to field those questions. Okay, but the week before that or 2 weeks before that, he's at the Sun Belt tournament. How much time can he devote to it?
Yeah.
It needs to be a full-time job.
Yeah.
And I think that in football too. I mean, you can't just say, think about one of the first committees they had Archie Manning on it. Well, he's knowledgeable. He, doesn't really have a job anymore, doesn't need one.
Right.
Condoleezza Rice was on it.
Yeah.
Now she really knows football.
Uh-huh.
But still, she's on the board of directors of like 4 different companies. So you need this is going to be your only job all season long.
Yep.
You're going to pick the best teams to go.
Yep.
Not some of the, like Kiffin said in that interview, it's like, I don't like the slotting for it because, 1 year the SEC might only have 2 teams worthy. But then again, One year they may have 6.
Yeah.
One year there are 2 group of 5 teams that should get in. Some years there's not any of them.
Yeah,
So
that's it.
Get 12 people, make it their full-time job, let them go to, Overland Park or wherever they're going to be, and you live there for football season, and you watch games together, and you discuss it every day.
Yeah, and that'd be the easiest way. Steve, thank you so much for coming on, man. We will get back with you. Steve Barnes from the rebelwalk.com, everybody. Thank you, Steve, so much. We'll talk to you later. And when we come back,
see you, Steve.
Todd is in the building.
Love you guys like fried chicken.
Yes, sir. You're listening to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Get in the game. Call or text us now on the Red 7T studio line. 850-215-6290. It's the PCB Hobby Takeover with Todd. Mondays at 5:20 on ESPN Northwest Florida.
That is a very high-end card and very rare.
Todd talks about coins, trading cards, collectibles, and the amazing stories behind them.
It was the first one that's ever come through my door.
Plus, we'll be taking your calls and questions at 850-215-6290. The PCB Hobby Takeover.
A platform for you to do your hobby.
Mondays at 5:20 on the Sports Talk Monster. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good evening. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with Monday's weather forecast. Mostly clear tonight with a low near 78 and a wind 3 to 7 miles per hour. A possibility of thunderstorms and sunshine tomorrow morning, a gentle breeze and a temperature of 89. Slightly hotter in the afternoon and evening around 90 with possible thunderstorms and mostly sunshine. Mostly sunny most of the day except possible thunderstorms in the afternoon and evening Wednesday and very warm around 91. This forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Lone Star Boil House and Sports Bar, where the locals go for the best boiled seafood around. Crawfish, shrimp, red royals, and everything crabs. Watch almost every sporting event in the country on their huge outdoor jumbotron. Follow them on Facebook to stay up to date on weekly events, live music, and food and beer specials. Lone Star Boil House and Sports Bar, your home away from home for sports, good times, great food. The best boiled seafood. Lone Star Boil House and Sports Bar, 320 West 5th Street, downtown Panama City.
Visit the newly remodeled Mid-South Lumber Hardware and Feed Store in Youngstown. They have a full line of plumbing, electrical, hardware, and tools for your DIY home projects, as well as lumber and animal feed. Now offering not only baby chicks and a full line of poultry supplies, but also bunnies and parakeets. They also carry a wide selection of Dublin wines and gourmet products so you don't have to drive to the beach. Come see us at Mid-South Lumber on Highway 231 in Youngstown.
Now, we're live and local inside the CBC Construction Studios. Don't call it a podcast.
Frequency modulation is a big step forward in radio.
Broadcasting live from the world's most beautiful beaches. The Afternoon Underdogs on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Afternoon Underdogs here with Paul Wilson at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Don't forget to call, to text the Red 7T's phone line, 850-215-6290. We are joined with a legend, the man, Todd at PCB Hobby. How are you doing today, Todd?
Happy Monday, everybody. How's it going? Oh, boy, I'm tired.
Are you?
I'm just going to start out with I'm tired. I'm tired of, I don't know what I'm tired of, but I'm tired. Anyways, things are going good. We're just really busy.
Yeah.
We're putting a lot of hours in at the warehouse and the shop and trying to get inventory together for everybody. We've been selling tons and tons and tons of inventory. We got through a ton of coin inventory. And actually, one of our coin guys is actually at the ANA show this week. So he'll be there, I don't know, till Friday, Saturday, Sunday, somewhere along in there, but picking up all kinds of new coin inventory. So that'll be great. A lot of that'll go on the stream. Some of it'll go to the shop. So if you're looking for anything, hit us up. Of course, we're always streaming live. We're streaming right now, all 4 streams, live on eBay at PCB Hobby. I'm going on a trip. I get to
Imagine that.
I get to go on a cruise.
Oh, okay.
I actually get to take some time off this week. So this Thursday, I'll be embarking on a cruise to the Bahamas, and I will be back on Tuesday. And I'm super excited about that. Just wanted to let everybody know that, yes, I actually do get a vacation every once in a while.
Are you taking the doctor with you is the question.
I am. So doctor's coming with me, both doctors. Dr. Hazel Cole, who works in our HR/chief of staff at PCB Hobby, is going as well, and her sister. So there's going to be 4 of us. Anyway, so we're super excited about that. Like I said, we'll be leaving this week for that. But the show must go on, and of course, we've got all kinds of stuff going on. So this weekend, Friday and Saturday on the comic stream, Sajjad Shah, our one of our artists, are going to be in the building, and we are going to be doing a live with Sajjad Shah. So if you're a comic book person, tune in Friday evening around 6 and Saturday as well, and we will be doing that. Last weekend, we had a toy show on Saturday, and it went nuts.
Wow.
We had like 300 people in the room. It got crazy. We were selling everything under the sun, and we still have a plethora of toys. So if anybody's looking for toys, hit us up. Let us know. Of course, we have a warehouse full of just stuff, which is great. Also, on the TCG side, we've been streaming all of our new boxes and different things that we've gotten in. So that's pretty good. We got a lot of exciting news coming up soon in social media, which Dr. Sharon is in charge of. And we have a new person who is part of the company who is going to be helping step into that social media role as well and do some posting and get some video. And we had a really monster card hit this last week. I believe it was Saturday morning. Monster $1,500 card raw on TCG, so that was cool. Everybody's really excited about that.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we got sports card going. We got a couple people. We have a trainee in sports cards. If you've been on our sports card stream, you will see who it is, and that's exciting news too, because we might start running some night shifts on that as well. As far as the store goes, I'm going to turn it over to Brian. I mean, I know the store's going good, but what's in the sports area?
Before I get to the shop, I actually might have news for you here. We are organizing, and it's going to be in the next couple of weeks. I don't have an exact date yet, so you're going to need to follow our sports card stream on eBay Live. We have got a huge NASCAR blowout coming. We have some really high-end cards, autos.
There you go.
But so many cool die casts of every size, 164th all the way to 118th.
Really?
Which, yeah, and it's hundreds and hundreds of pieces. And what do they say? Everything must go.
Yeah, there you go.
That's it.
We're setting that
Sell it
up.
all.
So definitely check in. If you're a NASCAR fan, we have an opportunity for you to pick up some really, really cool stuff on that. At the shop, it's been busy. I mean, it's settling a little bit like everything in this area, but that's good because our locals are coming back out.
That's right.
And we've picked up a bunch of collections. We're always looking for more. I know as the guy who processes that, I can't believe I'm saying that out loud, but we do,
Always buying.
And we are always buying. We're always looking for new stuff, any sport. We're actually moving a couple of things over. We just did a little trade between our stream and the shop, so we're going to have some new inventory in both places for that. We're going to list some stuff on eBay regular listings. We're going to start listing a little bit more on the sports card front with that. We have a ton of new wax in the shop. We were starting to get a little bare there because you people have been, buying us out, which is great. But we were able to reload on some newer product. We also picked up stuff that you do not get a hold of. Emma, I'm going to shout out Emma. I hope she's listening.
Sweet.
She was able to pick up some 2018 football wax, which is Josh Allen, Saquon Barkley, Baker Mayfield,
big stuff.
Lamar Jackson, rookie year. You don't see those as much. We even have a few items from 2017, Patrick Mahomes, rookie year. We've got some 2017, 2018 basketball, Jason Tatum stuff. These are products you don't see as often because obviously we're several years out of them. So we've refilled, and we have so much soccer, so much UFC in right now. We're trying to get some wrestling. That's been tough. And this week, it's maybe not in the sports end, but I kind of count it because it's Topps Chrome, and we love everything
This is
Topps
exciting.
Chrome. This Wednesday, Star Wars Chrome for 2025 hits. Always one of our best sellers.
I can tell you right now, we can sell that stuff on any of our streams. Everybody
Absolutely.
loves the Star Wars. Star Wars is just through the roof, and it's just an iconic type product. And, of course, it being chrome, I'm sure the cards look beautiful.
Oh,
Of course, you're looking for signatures and all kinds of craziness in it, I'm sure. So that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. Again, we have our normal play. Just to follow up on our normal things, we have our normal nightly plays this week, our normal events and things like that. So everybody come visit us. You can look at our calendar on our PCB Hobby website. So if you go to PCBHobby.com, you'll also notice we have a lot of our exclusives for our comic books listed. And you will be seeing more and more stuff getting listed on our website as well. We're just everywhere. We're going to be doing more and more eBay listing as well, not just the streaming auctions. And then, of course, hit us up on social media anytime that you have a question or need anything. We're at PCB Hobby pretty much everywhere.
Yeah, that's the question I was going to ask. Where can people, if, say, they want a jersey signed, or if they want a card that's signed, or they want a specific card, can they go to the website? Can they go to Facebook and say, hey, I'm looking for...
no problem. Instagram's no problem. All you do is hit us up on PCB Hobby and send us a message. We have people, especially coming up soon, we're going to have one person monitoring all those platforms and be able to get back to you a lot quicker than we've been doing. We've still been getting back to people, but just it'll be a lot quicker.
Yeah,
because
it's kind of a patchwork.
Because you can go and, say if I'm a huge Michael Jordan fan and say, hey, I want to find a Michael Jordan basketball, and I don't want to go bid. I got this amount of money. Could you look for me to see if you can find
100%.
that?
Same in comics, same in sports cards, same in coins, whatever. Whatever your interest is, if you have something you're looking for, get over to the shop or message us, and we will do our best to try to acquire it for you.
Yeah, because it's very open. The market's very open as far as if you want it, if you got the money to spend, that's probably the biggest thing.
Well, they're going to do something really cool at the A&A. We're actually live streaming at the eBay Airstream, and they're going to have the eBay Airstream in the venue.
Yeah.
Inside on the floor.
That's
in
cool.
the venue.
Wow.
And on Friday, we have a 2-hour stream we're doing where it's find and seek. So basically, someone's going to put out there, I'm looking for an 1893 S Morgan dollar. It's a rare date. Can you find me one in good or VG condition? They're literally going to say, go ahead. Devin's going to go out on the floor and literally go to vendors until he finds one and buys it. And then he's going to auction it live right on the stream to the people who want it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a really neat thing. Brand new, never been done before.
Well, and that's what I was going to say. Along those lines, we get so many shows on the TCG front, on the comic front, the coin front, the sports card front. We're always going out to shows. So not only are we able to buy things here, we're able to find them online here or there, but we're out mixing it up at these shows. Chances are, if it's out there, we can find it.
Yeah, absolutely, because we come across just about everything. Yep. So, anyways, that was pretty much the run through for what's going on this week and what we got going. I believe we are going to Collecticon Kansas City this weekend. Ethan and I think a buddy of ours, Kevin, is going.
Okay.
So that's the only two people that are going to be going. Other than that, what type of questions or things do you guys have for me today?
Well, I just, when I went over to your shop, and again, I know we talked about it. Do you guys think about in the future that you'll have packages for the birthday parties? Because I'm telling you, I think my son and all of his little baseball buddies, and then you got all of these people coming in for the baseball tournaments that are looking for that opportunity to have somewhere to go during the time of, where they're here for the week or they're here for their vacation. And I just think that that's like a hit or miss.
I'm not going to say yes or no to that. However, I will say if you go in and talk to Emma or Drew, I'm sure they can put something together for you. We probably won't create a specific package for that type of thing, but they're absolutely open to those.
We've worked with groups in the past.
And we've worked with many groups. So it's absolutely, it is a thing. I mean, that does happen at the shop all the time. It's just we don't have a set package like for $500, you get this or that. This and
So I've actually had a question I've wanted to ask you for a while, and I've just forgotten to ever bring it up. So I'm going to do it on the air. So obviously we've talked about gold and silver when it comes to bullion and stuff.
Sure.
And we've talked about ancient coins, and we've talked about Morgans and stuff like that. But I guess one thing I was thinking the other day as I was kind of watching the news. I don't know why I was watching the news, but I was. Whenever there's kind of news surrounding a foreign issue, so like you have the Russia-Ukraine conflict and thing, does that ever spur any interest, like in the coin collecting community, as to people who maybe want to pick up some Ukrainian coins or some Russian coins? I just wondered.
I think worldly events always persuade groups of people to do certain things.
Yeah.
And so in lots of different areas, but let's call it in collecting. I think in collecting, when you have a certain events happen, here's a prime example, when a certain celebrity passes away.
Right.
Okay. So there could be a certain, a war go on of some sort. Like, let's say a war goes on in Russia and, you're a collector of Russian coins, currency, things like that. Inevitably, some of that's going to get ruined. Inevitably, some of it's not going to be saved, and inevitably, it's going to get rare.
Yeah.
And so, a lot of times, when a country splits, remember, it used to be the USSR,
right?
But now it's just Russia, right? Soviet Republic. So their coins got out of mintage, and a lot of those countries change their coins fairly often. The United States does not change their coins very often.
That's right.
That's true. They change their coins a lot. Great Britain, every time you have a silver coin struck, it's a different person, a different ruler on there. And to say, okay, yes, Queen Elizabeth was a ruler for a very long time.
Right.
But most countries aren't actually that way. And so now Charles is on the coins. Well, there's our silver eagle, our silver. It's going to stay the silver eagle, and this is the silver eagle, and it's going to be the silver eagle. I mean, it doesn't matter who changes in and out of office or things like that. So it's kind of interesting.
That is.
I would imagine it would spur, so like your example about Elizabeth and Charles, it would probably spur interest in both.
It is. The end cap, and actually it's a halfway. It's 2023. So you can get 2023 Great Britain Britannias with her on it, and then you can also get it with Charles on it.
That's cool.
So it's really cool.
Yeah.
So not both, just one of him and one of them. So you collect two that year for the end and the beginning. So it's kind of neat. And so when we sell, it's exactly how we sell them. This is the last year of the coin with Queen Elizabeth. This is the first year of the coin with King Charles. So you see what I'm saying? So those events, yes, they do help the industries and stuff like that. As far as sports go, you and I both know that sports is very much a who's passed away lately.
That's right.
Oh yeah.
Thing. So I'm sure Hulk Hogan memorabilia and stuff is going crazy. The Ozzy Osbourne stuff, signature autographs. I mean, I've purchased several of those lately and sold several of those lately.
Well, I've seen a lot of people wearing Ozzy shirts more than ever before.
Of course.
It's crazy when that happens.
We're headed to, I want to say, San Diego, and Maddox is with us. And, of course, he's got an Ozzy Osbourne pullover on. And we get to the airport, and all of a sudden people just start coming up to him, go Ozzy, rest in peace, Ozzy. And we're all like, what? And we're like, pull our phones up. We're like, no.
Yeah.
And so it was interesting. He got hit up like 10 times because he had an Ozzy shirt on. So things like that are important. It's sad, but are important to the industries that we.
That's true.
I mean, it's collectibles industry.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it, I'm sure somebody's got a Hulk Hogan belt that's probably for sale somewhere.
Well, ironically, so when we went to Fanatics Fest in June, he had not passed, obviously, yet, but that was right around the time where word started getting out he wasn't doing well, and then that was disputed back and forth. Well, we had a couple of big Hogan cards. Now, granted, he was a huge deal in New York, selling out the Garden for all those years, but it definitely, there were speculators who came by on the thought, well, he's not doing well. Eventually, he's going to pass here.
They were right.
And we sold out of everything Hulk Hogan we had there. Sure did. And those people got in at a good time, because when he did pass, I mean, it's so morbid to say, but it's true.
But it's interesting that
his stuff spiked.
And I kid you not.
Yeah.
We were on there. He passed. We immediately went to eBay and started scooping. And one guy wouldn't answer us back.
Yeah.
It was a $1,500 slab. He wouldn't answer us back. All of a sudden, it was gone. A couple of days later, it popped back up, and he wanted $1,000 more.
Yeah.
I negotiated with him and got it cheaper. But still, he made much more money because Ozzy Osbourne passed away.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's crazy, but that's how the industry is. And so that's a big part of the industry, is knowing who's alive, who's not, what cards are never going to be made again or what are, what comics are done with the series and are a first appearance of something, what coins have been done as far as being produced, and now the new sets come out, what's done in silver, what's done in gold. I mean, they all have their same thing. The life of a collectible is very interesting.
Yep.
Yeah.
No doubt.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, man, it's been great to have you here.
Awesome.
We're going to have to take our next break. And if you're out and about and you have nothing to do, or if you got a lot to do, you should stop by PCB Hobby and tell them Todd sent you.
That's right. Tell them the captain sent you.
The captain sent you, and they said they'd give you a discount. I'm just kidding.
I did not say that. But that's a good one.
There you go.
And when we come back, we're going to be discussing some football changes in the SEC. You're listening to the Afternoon Underdogs here at 104.3 ESPN, Northwest Florida.
Reach out and smack someone. Call or text now. 850-215-6290. The Red 7T Studio Line. Have you ever wanted to reach out and smack someone?
Sit your ass down and shut up.
Call or text the Afternoon Underdogs on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida with your rants, hot takes, picks, and takedowns.
This is unacceptable at the University of Alabama.
This should go 7 games. You've got to have a bad game at some point.
The Red 7T Studio Line. 850-215-6290. ESPN Northwest Florida. Get in the game.
Taco Bell is now on DoorDash in Port St. Joe. That's right, you can enjoy craveable tacos, burritos, and more delivered right to your door. Craving a late-night snack? Taco Bell in Port St. Joe has you covered. Open until 1, 7 days a week. Plus, start your day off with their delicious breakfast menu, available until 10 a.m. Taco Bell, where the craveable comes true. Taco Bell, now on DoorDash in Port St. Joe.
What's in store at our national sales event? A lot. And this month at Panama City Toyota, get 3.99% APR on the super stylish Camry, plus 90 days until you make your first payment, and 3.99% on the impressive RAV4, plus 90 days until you make your first payment. Get 2.99% on the ruggedly refined Tacoma, or get 1.99% on the hardworking Tundra. Let's put you in the driver's seat at Panama City Toyota.
Offer expires September 2nd. For details, visit PanamaCityToyota.com.
The 2025 Atlanta Braves are battle-tested, and every game this summer is a chance to get back in the fight.
Olsen muscles one deep down the right field line and is gone. Another bomb by Olsen.
Tonight, Matt Olson and the Braves are back in town as they face off against the Chicago White Sox at Truist Park in Atlanta.
Braves back in Atlanta to take on the White Sox. Pregame 6 o'clock, first pitch 6:15. Your home for the Braves on the Gulf Coast, ESPN Northwest Florida.
Broadcasting from the CBC Construction Studios. Now back to the most dangerous afternoon show on terrestrial radio.
It's dangerous, it's dangerous,
It's illegal in 5 states. The Afternoon Underdogs. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back. You're listening to the Afternoon Underdogs with Paul Wilson here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Don't forget to call in, text in on the Red 7T's phone line, 850-215-6290. Want to throw in some shout-outs for our sponsors, Auto Nation Ford in Panama City. Make sure that if you're looking for any kind of service for your vehicle, if you need a part for your vehicle, go see those guys over there. They'll take care of you. They're knowledgeable, definitely have been in the field for many, many years and can help you out with those. Don't forget to see those guys and also mention my name, Paul Wilson, and they will give you a discount, I'm sure. Also, don't forget, Recommended Collision Center over on Jinx. If you have any kind of things going on with your vehicle and you need to get taken care of, take it over there to those guys. You know, in this Florida heat, those paint jobs don't last forever. So if you do have any kind of painting that you need for your vehicle, maybe that hood or maybe that roof is damaged, go over there and let those guys take care of you. They're great at what they do. Recommended Body Shop or Collision Center. And so anyway, that'll be good. Also, don't want to forget some of our great listeners on here. Just wanted to look at it. And one of our listeners stated that Stetson Bennett will never win any ball games in the NFL as a quarterback. Just possible. So you know. And also they mentioned, why do people always want to mention Cowboys? We didn't even talk about the Cowboys. We've been holding off on the Cowboys. We hadn't said anything about Dak, but somebody said, well, if you look, and Joe Milton's doing over there good with the Cowboys over there. And great athlete. And then somebody also texted me earlier about the Bears. The Bears are all in for Caleb Williams. And so all you Bears fans, have no fear. They are saying Caleb Williams is here, just so you know.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Ben Johnson's got his hands full, so we'll see over there. Want to real quick talk about tonight's game. Tonight we got the Bengals taking on the Commanders. Obviously, the starters aren't going to be there, but what's significant about the Bengals and the Commanders is that Trey Hendrickson come out today, or actually the Bengals come out today and said they are taking offers for Trey Hendrickson. There's a chance that he is going to get traded. I guess they can't see eye to eye, and that to me spells trouble for the Bengals. Obviously, we got more things to talk about, but that's a big deal for you Cincinnati Bengal fans out there, because last year, Trey Hendrickson and the year before was amongst the leaders in sacks, and that's a big deal for a team that is going to try to outscore everybody, especially in that division.
I mean, if Shamar Stewart will hit other quarterbacks as hard as he hits his own, they're probably okay. But no, look, it all depends what you're going to get, and they're not going to be negotiating from a place of strength here. So you wouldn't think that their haul would be very good if they are moving him on. But, we'll have to wait and see what they're able to pick up. But, yeah, I mean, just necessarily the defensive line will have to be a little bit weaker, just because when you take somebody of his ability out of the rotation, then you're just going to be a little bit weaker.
Yeah, and, looking over on the other side of this game tonight, the Washington Commanders still have not gotten Terry McLaurin going. He got off the PUP, which is physically unable to perform. They took him off of the list. Now he can come in and practice, but the deal is not done. And I think that is a huge deal for the Commanders, because Jaden Daniels, when he needed somebody to make a catch, he would throw it up, and it just seemed like Terry would go get it. And I'm a huge fan of him. I believe he's been one of those underrated guys for the last 4 years, doing 1,000 yards every year and just being that steady guy over there. So tonight's game, not going to be, fireworks, but those guys are pretty intense.
They are, and they're bigger names. But one more that's out there that I just saw is the Commanders. Brian Robinson's not going to be playing as well, because there's uncertainty over his future, and they might end up trading or cutting him as we go forward, because they kind of don't see eye to eye on the path forward. So, somebody who's obviously a big Brian Robinson Jr. fan like we are, that one's interesting to me, because I think he still has a lot to offer in the NFL. And so we'll just have to see. But he will not be playing tonight, as well as they're trying to figure out his future.
Yeah, because they drafted a running back, and I guess they're going to go through the
well, they want to do the committee thing. And, he wants to be the feature back. And I think he's coming into his big deal year. So obviously he'd want to be a feature back somewhere.
Yeah, so, which I'm a big fan. So I hope everything works out, and hopefully he's definitely got value, so hopefully he'll work out. But the big news today is, for me, is the breaking news that Coach Ed Ogeron has decided that he is interested in coming back to coach again. He says, and let me do my best impersonation, I got the itch. So he's got the itch to come back to coaching. So now, not only do you have Coach O, you got John Gruden, and you got Jimbo Fisher all in the same month talking about coming back to coaching football. Now, with that being said, on Thursday, Brian, we talked about what teams in the SEC are looking at possibly replacing their coach at the end of this year or during the year. Now, we went around the room, we gave everybody 2 picks for their team. So I'll go ahead and let you throw it over to you.
Well, it's the SEC. Everybody's 3 losses away from needing a head coach, right? And I'm glad you kept talking, because when you say I've got the itch, I had a lot of bad thoughts that I could have said.
That's right.
I guess Coach O's tired of partying on 30A. I mean, yeah, thank you. I think the most likely destinations are the ones everybody knows of. Arkansas is out there. Kentucky will be out there. Potentially Mississippi State, although I think they're going to be enough improved that they'll give Lebby one more year, because last year really didn't.
No.
That was such a turnover. The ones that are interesting are the ones that are a little more high profile. LSU, Florida, potentially. Theoretically, Alabama could be in play if they really lay an egg, although I don't think they're going to. Auburn is certainly in play. So let's, we'll see. So Coach O, he's not going back to LSU.
No.
That's not going to happen.
No.
I'll be honest, I really don't see him anywhere else in the SEC, except I could see him at Arkansas.
Yeah.
I don't know that they're going to be that interested in him, but I could see him there.
Yeah.
So I'll say that there. Gruden would die to coach at Tennessee. Every time that job's come up, he's been in on the mix. Everybody is saying Florida. I'm going to be a contrarian and say I could very well see John Gruden as the head coach at Auburn if Hugh Freeze kind of lays an egg here.
Yeah.
And we'll see. Jimbo being the other one, Jimbo would take a job anywhere.
Yeah.
He just would. Obviously, I don't think LSU would bring him back. A&M certainly won't. Where else has he been? That's probably it in the SEC, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't see Florida ever bringing him in with the Florida State ties. So let's say Jimbo. I could see Jimbo. I could see him going to Kentucky. I don't think he has to be.
Yeah.
I don't think he has to take a mega program. I think he's kind of gone past that in his career. I could see him at Kentucky. So if you're asking me if all 3 end up in the SEC, where do they end up? I'll put Orgeron at Arkansas. I will put Gruden at Auburn. And I will put Jimbo at Kentucky.
Yeah, see, I'm not 100% sure that Coach O will be in the SEC. I could see him going a lower level somewhere, maybe Big 12, something like that, possibly. But if he had to go in there, I think Arkansas would probably be the best fit, because they tend to have like more of the seasoned guy, because don't they still have Petrino there? Calling plays.
Yeah.
So you got, an older mix of guys.
To be honest, that's going to be the way they go.
Yeah.
If they go with
probably go
coach.
Bobby. Yeah, he'll probably go there. I think, too, I saw the picture on Facebook. Obviously, Facebook is whatever. But I saw where John Gruden was at LSU, because all it's going to take is for Brian Kelly not to make the playoff this year, and I think the seat's going to be really hot, even because of the way he's pumping up Nussmeier, and it's like, okay, he's your guy, you've been talking about him, and then you throw this egg, and then what happens,
I just, for whatever reason, I just don't see Gruden in LSU. I don't. And look, I thought Brian Kelly was going to lose his job last year. I just don't see it. I don't know why I don't see it, but I don't. I mean, I guess theoretically Jimbo could go there because he was the OC down there, I believe, under Saban.
Yeah.
But I don't, I can't explain it other than I just can't see Chucky in Baton Rouge.
It'd be scary, because he's going to bring recruits. You know that LSU is a place where you can recruit really well, and Florida as well. So either one of those would be crazy. But let me throw this let me throw this into there. What happens if Oklahoma gets rid of Brent Venables, and then the next thing you know, Oklahoma is offering Josh Heupel so much money that he leaves Tennessee and he goes to Oklahoma, goes back home, coaches at Oklahoma, and now you do have Tennessee open, and then John Gruden steps in.
I guess that could happen. Obviously, there's a lot of dominoes got to fall there. But look, John Gruden has wanted that Tennessee job for a very long time, and I could very well see him ending up there. I think he would love that. I think Tennessee fans would honestly like that as well.
And I mean, when you look at it, you got Kiffin, you got Gruden.
Oh, yeah.
You got all these other guys in there. I do agree with you. Kentucky's going to be looking for them a coach. Arkansas is going to be figuring out what they're going to do. And, you know.
And look, I'm with Steve. I also think Sumrall is the heir apparent at Kentucky if that were to come open, you know, barring any kind of, you know, weirdness. And people say, well, what about Orgeron at Mississippi State? Well, he was head coach at Ole Miss. I don't know if State fans would. You know, I don't think they'd be excited about Orgeron for that because he really did not do well there.
Yeah.
You know, but again, I don't think State's going to be looking this year. But
yeah, I think he's safe. I think having the year they had last year, if they see some production here, if they get some kind of, you know, obviously they're not picked to win hardly any games.
You know, the one that would intrigue the heck out of me, and I don't think he's coming back to college football coaching, I could see LSU finding a way to lure Urban Meyer out of retirement.
Oh, my gosh.
I really
that would
could.
Be crazy.
If they're, I think they want a big-time college coach name.
Yeah.
I could see it.
Man.
And that would be crazy.
Could you imagine? Because you know he's only going to give you about 4 or 5 years, and then something else will
3 years.
And that'll be it.
I could see it.
Yeah. Well,
I really could.
We're going to stay on top of this, and we're going to stay on top of all of these coaching hires, fires, and free agency. You've been listening to the Afternoon Underdogs here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. We will see you tomorrow.
ESPN Northwest Florida. The Sports Blitz.
The players that were on the sideline when those sign-stealing things, most of them are probably gone. I like it because they're not